Hey there guys, Raj here. I hope all of you guys are well and I hope you guys had a good Christmas or a festive break, however you want to call it. Today I am back with a review on a fragrance from a niche London-based perfume brand called Ormonde Jayne, and this one is called Zizan. Now, quite a few years ago I went to the Ormonde Jayne boutique here in London and I picked up this travel spray, which I don't know if they still produce it, but I kind of like picked it out a few months ago out of my sort of bunch of mountains of samples that I seem to have acquired over the years, and decided, you know what, I'm gonna wear this for the autumn and winter time. And it's been great. These cold, as the weather is starting to turn colder and get colder over the last few months, Zizan has been performing really well. Here you can see the 10 ml travel spray, and it's not really focusing. Oh, there you go. London Perfumery, Zizan, Eau de Parfum, 10 ml. Comes in really handy. It's gotten a little bit beaten up in my travels, but that's what these travel sprays are all about. Yeah, it smells really nice. It smells really good. Ormonde Jayne, set up by Linda Pilkington. I'm not sure exactly when, probably about 10 years ago. And it's a brand that I think has really grown like quite well. I think they're a solid house. I think Ormonde Jayne, when I was thinking about this in the last few days, you know, before as I was putting my thoughts together on this review, and I kind of feel that Ormonde Jayne is kind of like Creed. They produce, in terms of men's fragrances anyway, they produce fragrances that are refined. You know, they are sort of not your typical designer scents, but they are also mass appealing as well. I think a lot of them are, and accessible in terms of pricing, but nothing too crazy. But they're not cheap at the same time. So, you know, if you're looking for something that is just a little bit better than your Armani's and your Issey-Miyake's, but not talking like Roger's Parfum prices, Ormonde Jayne is a house worth checking out. Zizan, in terms of notes, in the top, there is Sicilian lime, lemon, bergamot, so very sort of juicy, citrusy, zesty, Clary sage, pink pepper, and juniper berry. In the base notes, there is bay leaf, violet, and jasmine, and in the so that was the heart, or the mid, and in the base of this fragrance, there's vetiver, cedar, musk, and amber. 120 ml is going to cost you £160. So, you know, it's not cheap, but as far as niche fragrances go, it's relatively affordable. That's what I'm going to say. That is the bottle. Very nice bottle. You can probably just about make it out. Guys, you know my videos, they're not the most professional. I'm not going to be doing any editing or anything like that. I just shoot and speak. Okay, so Ormonde Jayne Zizan, you know, I feel this is a very masculine fragrance. I feel this is, you know, as I've said this before, I feel like I have to qualify myself. Anybody can wear anything, but I do feel, in my personal opinion, certain ingredients should be, well, not should be, but smell better on certain genders. And I think vetiver is one of those. It's a very masculine sort of notes, and I think it's well perceived, well picked up by women. I've been complimented on this fragrance, and I think vetiver as an ingredient as a whole actually is complimented, it was liked quite well, in my experience, by the opposite sex. So this is a fragrance that lasts a huge amount of time. Longevity is like whole day, 12 plus hours, no problem. Projection is good in the opening few hours. Performance is really good. It has this because of some of the synthetic notes in this, it has this persistence which borders on being annoying, but I will touch on that a little bit later. Season wise, so yeah, I've been rocking this in like autumn winter. I have actually worn this because, you know, I've had this sample, this decant travel spray, for quite a few years. I've worn it in the springtime, and I think it works in the springtime. I just think colder weather, it works really well. Formal occasions is probably the best for me. Even work time as well. It doesn't really feel casual. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. In terms of scent, really good, solid scent. Nothing spectacular, but done really nicely. In the opening, I've sprayed this on about 20 minutes ago. Yeah, you get that kind of like zesty, juicy lime mixed in there with the typical Ormonde Jayne bergamot. Ormonde Jayne DNA, which has like pink pepper. Vetiver is also an ingredient that is used a lot in there. Isoe Super, the synthetic, is used in because Geza Schoen is the perfumer who is also the perfumer behind Eccentric Molecules. So he likes to use this Isoe Super, and it gives that kind of cedar woody aroma that is really, really sort of non-stop. You know, it just goes on and on and on, which gets a little bit much sometimes, so you have to moderate the number of sprays. For me, I do about 3 from this travel spray. And then you've got that kind of like uplifting, fresh, but also slightly spicy juniper berry, giving a kind of very earthy gin and tonic accord. The earthiness is kind of amplified by this really nice vetiver ingredient in here. It's not smoky, it's more on the slightly earthier side, or more on the kind of wet, mossy, kind of like you're entering a wet forest where there's lots of like moss and like vetiver growing, you know, and it's slightly wet and the cedarwood is there. And you kind of almost mix all that aroma into this gin and tonic, you know, this glass of gin and tonic, and you've got slightly cedarwood shavings in there. Very masculine, very, very nice in the composition, very easy to wear, I find. And it's just kind of quite solid, you know. There is a touch of sweetness coming from a slightly grassy sweetness, which probably comes from the vetiver also, and dries down this fragrance. The fragrance dries down really nicely into this kind of sweet vetiver aroma, slightly earthy. There's not much more to say, to be honest. It's a really solid fragrance. Is it as good as Ormonde Man? Probably not. Doesn't have that sort of... for me, Ormonde Man has that wow factor. This is kind of like a slight step below that, but I think is a really good fragrance, worth checking out. I'm just trying to sort of think I've picked up pretty much everything. Yeah, I think I've pretty much captured it all. You know, cedarwood. You've got that kind of like sweet but mainly earthy vetiver. You know, kind of like picking up the earth, picking up the vetiver root out of the grass, that out of the ground, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a fragrance that's definitely worth checking out, and I have to give Zizan a rating of 8 out of 10. Now, if you don't like your Isoe Super, this might get a little bit annoying to you because it just goes on and on and on, and it kind of just acts as a kind of like a filler to this fragrance. I don't mind it, but there are times when I've oversprayed this fragrance. I've done like 4 or 5 sprays, and I've thought, as the day goes, as the hours go by, I kind of wish I didn't spray that much, because it does kind of give me a little, it did give me a little bit of a headache. So, you know, your mileage may vary. I don't know how it might work for you guys. If you have checked out this fragrance, please let me know your thoughts. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Why? And, you know, whatever you have to say, please say. I always enjoy listening to, reading all your comments. Feel free to check out my Instagram page, guys, if you haven't done so already. And subscribe to this page if you think you want to hear me ramble on about fragrances. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.